So, welcome everybody to Football, the People's Game. And today we are having on the show a first time analyst on this show. He's a Chelsea fan. And today I'm having Super Mario, a bona fide Chelsea fan. So, Super Mario, thank you for joining us on this show, Football, the People's Game.
Thank you. It's my honor to be here. I've looked forward to a show like this, and it's wonderful having to do this with you, Horace. And I'm quite impressed with all that you are doing with football, the people's game. I love people who make good use of what they have, to give their best to the world, and particularly to football. So I wish you the very best of luck with football, the people's game.
All right, so that's been said. Since you have started being a football fan, I think this is the first time you're having the opportunity to discuss football on the show, is it not?
Yeah, formally anyway, but I've had a lot of sprawling argument with people over football. But getting on a show like this is the first of its kind.
All right, so how are you feeling that you are here to discuss football now?
I'm excited because football is what I'm passionate about, and it's another side of me that I really want to explore. So I love talking about football. I love watching football and engaging in discussions that have to do with football.
All right. So since you are a Chelsea fan, today our discussion is strictly going to be on Chelsea. So first, we are going to begin with Chelsea's performance this season. So in all, in the Premier League, Chelsea are just with one game left to play in the Premier League before the end of the season. And they are currently in the Conference League final. So how impressed have you been with Chelsea performance this season?
I will tell you, not very impressed.
Okay.
37 games, 19 wins, 9 draws, and 9 losses. Well, a high-performing Chelsea would have done better.
Okay.
A Chelsea team that is out for the trophy would give it its best to ensuring that they didn't have to lose as many games as 9 games. It has never been seen, that Chelsea performance will be this abysmal, and we are having a coach who ordinarily should be encouraging the players, keeps insisting that his duty or his task at the Stamford Bridge is to ensure that Chelsea plays in the Champions League after 2 years. You don't expect that kind of statement from a high-profile coach. So I'm not quite impressed. For some persons who believe in the Maresca theory, definitely they would be impressed that Chelsea is presently sitting fourth. But for me, I think either Chelsea goes for the trophy or at worst, stays second position on the EPL table.
All right. So you just made mention about Enzo's Maresca statements in regarding Chelsea fighting for top 4. So we'll be talking about one of his statements that he made last December when Chelsea were on the second spot, and it was looking promising that Chelsea could actually contend for the league. But then they slipped after December. In a statement he made then, he said that Chelsea were not ready to contend for the league yet. So what would you also be making of such statements from Enzo Maresca?
Mediocrity. every team goes into the context with the determination to win the league. A team, even those who were just promoted, to the EPL, came with that determination to win the league.
Yes.
Because every season records are made, records are broken. So it is not bad for Chelsea to contend for the trophy. I thought that at that time he was probably making a psychological statement, but I didn't know that he was doing that, to cover up for his mediocrity. I wasn't quite impressed with that. And for us who are very passionate Chelsea fans, no, we wouldn't take that, from a coach. We always struggle for the trophy, and it's bad that we presently are rather struggling to be in the top 4.
All right, so when Chelsea was on the second spot, that's December last year, what was your hopes like?
Yeah, go for the trophy. That has always been my hope.
Okay.
That has always been my hope. And as much as possible, there are certain measures we put in place to ensure that we contend for the trophy.
Yes.
There are teams that ordinarily Chelsea shouldn't be losing to. teams like Ipswich Town got 4 points from Chelsea this season. You know, there are other teams, low performing profile teams that ordinarily Chelsea would have gotten maximum of 3 points from, most of whom they ended up with a point or no point at all. So that's really terrible, and it didn't go down well with me as a fan.
All right, so still talking about Enzo Maresca, he has been able to take that Chelsea side to the Conference League final, and they'll be playing against Real Betis. So as it is now, Chelsea's hopes is just on that Conference League to win a silverware this season, because they are out of the FA Cup, the Carling Cup, and also obviously the league. They ended up fighting for top four. So the Conference League is their only hope. If Chelsea should end up winning the Conference League, they'll become the first side in Europe to win all European competitions. So if Chelsea should win that Conference League or not, do you think Enzo Maresca is the right man to continue for that Chelsea side as the manager?
For me, he can only be the right man for the Chelsea club if he works on his mentality, on his ideologies, on his psychology. You know, because all we need in Chelsea is not really about the high profile of a coach. You can get a coach even from Nigeria, from a very bad performing league. But so long as the coach has the winning mentality, why not make good use of the person? So Enzo Maresca can be the right man for the job if he works on his mentality. See that Chelsea is a team that always have the winning mentality, you know, and so we enter into every game with the hope of winning. We enter every league with the hope of winning it, and never, you know, being a runner-up. So if he works on his mentality, why not? Definitely, we'll keep him. But if he keeps taking us back with Chelsea not being fully ready to contend for the trophy, then I guess we'll have to kick his butt out of Chelsea.
So that notwithstanding, we'll be talking about Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur in the Europa League final. Both clubs are your rivals. Tottenham Hotspur are your London rivals. Then Manchester United, they are also your rival. So the both teams have performed poorly in the Premier League this season, and the both of them are in the Europa League final. So what is your opinion about that final?
It's a final of two abysmally performing teams.
Okay.
Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester United. They had a very terrible season.
Yes.
Particularly with Tottenham Hotspur. Mm-hmm. You know, presently sitting
17th position
in the Premier League.
Yes.
You know, so, and for a club as Tottenham Hotspur, who have not touched the trophy since 2008, you know, having been in two finals since then, the one with Liverpool Champions League in 2019,
yes,
and then there was the Manchester City FA Cup final, you know, which they played and then they had to lose, yes, and all of that. So entering into that game, it will be tough for the two teams because they are performing at the same level. So I consider that it will be tough, actually.
Okay.
You know, and there is Manchester United, who have come under scrutiny because of their performance this season as well. You know, so Amorim is under pressure to deliver at Manchester United. And one way that he could get exemption is to, you know, try to lift that trophy this season. You know, so for the two sides, I'm going to wish them well. But if you ask me to pick a team, I'll definitely go for Tottenham Hotspur. I know that they are our London rivals, and for many Chelsea fans, they would have wanted Manchester United, because Chelsea have this notion of wanting to dominate London. For me, it's not so. I think Tottenham Hotspur deserves something, and over the years they've struggled, and I feel their pain, actually. And I personally would love Tottenham Hotspur to go with the trophy this season.
Right. So last night, Chelsea were able to beat Manchester United 1-0 in the Premier League second leg. The first leg, it was a tie between the both sides. And your coach, Enzo Maresca, has said Chelsea put in an unbelievable performance to win that game, and it has put the top four race in their hands by winning that game. So, how excited were you that Chelsea were able to win Manchester United yesterday?
I didn't watch the game, but I was on live score, and flash score through trying to, see that Chelsea won that match because at the time Aston Villa was winning, and
Mhm.
with our performance at Newcastle, a very terrible performance. All Chelsea needed from that game with Manchester United was to go home with that 3 points. So when Cucurella scored that brilliant header, I was super excited, and I wished that Chelsea kept that tempo to the end of the game, which they actually did.
Yes.
I was happy with the performance, although for a team as Manchester United presently struggling, Chelsea would have given them more for me to be satisfied. Everybody has been dealing with Manchester United. Why must Chelsea have to struggle? That tells you that the team is not at the level it should be. If I ask you what was your expectation if Chelsea was actually performing well, you would have expected more goals. Actually, that is to say that the rivalry is still in extension because Manchester United ordinarily would have done everything possible to stop Chelsea, from going in the top four. But still, I'm happy with the performance.
All right. So now, before we go, with both past and present players at Chelsea, which five players will be making your top five aside team?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Thank you very much. You've got to give me the indispensable Peter Cech,
Wow,
you know.
he was
Then
an
you give me
he was,
captain and legend John Terry. Then,
let's talk about Peter Cech for
yeah,
Chelsea side before we go on to the next players that you did mention it. Cech with Chelsea was unbelievable. So what about him exactly? Do you like? Being a player for Chelsea for a very long time.
I love people who are passionate. I love people who are hardworking. I love people who would give their best,
Mhm,
to make things work.
mhm,
And that was the kind of person Peter Cech was.
mhm,
He was homely at Chelsea Football Club. And even when he went to Arsenal, you could see that he still had a part of him in Chelsea Football Club. Even when he retired, he came into the coaching crew, to groom up our goalkeepers. That's
yeah,
that's one thing I love with people who are passionate about doing whatever they are doing. So for me, I love Peter Cech because he had that Chelsea spirit, that Chelsea blood, to be able to give his best to the team, which we didn't find with Courtois, who was always crying, he wanted to leave and all of that. So that was what made Peter Cech exceptional for me.
All right, so Peter Cech in goal for you. So you are left with four players.
Yeah, Captain John Terry,
Wow,
unbelievable.
he was a fantastic
Fantastic.
defender for Chelsea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So between John Terry and present day Virgil van Dijk, do you think there's any comparison there?
Well, Van Dijk is not scoring as many goals as John Terry. John Terry is the defender in the English Premier League with the highest number of goals. He had that determination to get into the box. To score from every angle, even though he was a defender. So Van Dijk has the stature, to keep defenders, to keep strikers at bay. But for me, presently, I wouldn't think that Van Dijk and John Terry are at the same level. John Terry was far ahead of him.
All right, in 2008, John Terry missed his spot kick against Manchester United in the Champions League final. So how did you feel at the time that John Terry missed that spot kick?
I felt bad. He was the captain and the leader. In fact, it would have been a dream come true for him to have lifted the Champions League. But things happen. Maybe it wasn't his time, it wasn't his luck, and he had to sleep, with that penalty, and he missed it. I felt bad, terribly bad for him.
So luckily for him, he was able to win it with Chelsea before he retired. All right, so Peter Cech in goal for you, then John Terry as a defender. So you are still left with three more players to make your five-a-side team.
Yeah, the Frenchman N'Golo Kante,
Oh,
highly determined, small man, but he connects all the dots with his passes and he has a determination to get into the box. Humble man, is the most loved player in the world, I would
yes.
say.
Yeah. All right. So N'Golo Kante making it 3 players now. 2 more to go.
Yeah, the Belgian Eden Hazard.
Wow.
You know, he's legend for
I thought
Chelsea.
as much.
Fantastic player. Yeah. And then finally, the African king, DJ Drogba.
Wow. There's
Yeah,
this
so
story
for me,
about Didier Drogba signing for Chelsea told by Jose Mourinho. He said when he took over and Abramovich, Chelsea owner at the time, asked him about which signing he would be making, and Jose Mourinho said he told him that he needed a striker. So Abramovich was thinking that Jose Mourinho will be making mention of prolific players and renowned strikers that were in world football at the time. And then Jose Mourinho made mention of Drogba. And Jose Mourinho said that Abramovich told him that Drogba, who is Drogba? And Jose Mourinho with his antics, he said, Abramovich, pay, just pay, And then Drogba was able to sign for Chelsea, and the rest was history. So, how excited were you that that Drogba signed for Chelsea and he turned out good, just like Jose Mourinho knew that he would?
well, I wasn't watching football at the time. DJ Drogba signed for Chelsea. I think I started watching football when Drogba was at the peak of his football. My first Champions League final ever I watched was in 2007 when Milan played Liverpool.
Okay.
But then I watched the 2008 Champions League final with Chelsea and Manchester United. And at that time, DJ Drogba was at the peak of his football. But then I am super grateful to Jose Mourinho, for having been able to sign a player as talented as DJ Drogba, because he came into Chelsea and he transformed, our mentality with scoring and all of that. So for me, I think also that Jose Mourinho should be given a thumbs up for his belief in African footballers, hoping to make something reasonable out of them.
All right. So I'm very shocked that a name was left out of your top 5 aside for Chelsea. I'm very shocked that Frankie Lampard was left out. So why?
Oh.
So why do you think that Lampard couldn't make your top 5 aside?
Oh, well, I had a limited choice of five players actually, but at that spot I was thinking of a player who was an ecstatic maestro, not necessarily someone who was really passionate about the team. And even though Frank Lampard stayed longer in Chelsea compared to Eden Hazard, I think that could not be compared, because Eden Hazard was a fantastic player that everyone loved watching, and then another time, maybe with more options, maybe Lampard would make the list, but definitely not now. I had between him and Eden Hazard.
All right, so what a wonderful 5 aside you are having there. Peter Cech, John Terry, N'Golo Kante, Eden Hazard, and Didier Drogba. Is a very top 5 aside team.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, so thank you very much, Moscow, for being part of the show, Football, the People's Game. We are very, very excited for you for being part of this show.
Thank you. In fact, I'm grateful to you for giving me the opportunity to be here. I look forward, to joining you often in the future, and I wish you the very best with what you are doing with Football, the People's Game. We hope that with time you could grow your brand, and it could be one of the leading brands of football in the world. I just wish you the very best, Horace.
All right, so thank you very much. So viewers out there, this is Football, the People's Game. If you're a first-time viewer, please remember to subscribe to follow more of our footballing analysis. So thank you very much, Moscow, for being part of the show.
My pleasure.
All right, thank you.